The biggest mistake I have seen athletes make that gets them injured is they train like a bodybuilder and they expect their bodies to perform like an athlete when they go into the game. Second biggest mistake I've seen them do is they diet like they want to look like their favorite actor and their favorite model with ripped six pack abs. This is preventing them from playing at their level best. But if you are an athlete or you are coaching athletes who want yourself or your athletes to play at their level best and want to even exceed your own expectations, want to stay away from injuries and still want a ripped physique, then this episode is for you. By the end of this episode, you will exactly know how to train, how to eat, what to eat, and how to manage your own stress and recover like a Wolverine so that you not just play at your own best, your own, don't just exceed your own expectations, but stay in the game for longer and keep making world records over the time. Even if you are someone who is not a professional athlete but just recreationally plays sports over the weekend and with friends and has a lot of injuries, aches and pains and can't even imagine going to play without the kneecaps, without the elbow support, the wrist support and a lot of hundred things that you wear just to not have your pains, not have your aches and discomforts. This episode is going to help you to throw all of these things away and play raw and at your best potential without any aches and pains. As always, my friends, Vinay here, lecturer of exercise science, body transformation, and a performance coach, here to make your transformation and performance journey easier, faster, and enjoyable. Let's dive deep into today's episode, my friend. If you want to perform like an athlete, you should train and eat like an athlete, not like a bodybuilder, not like a general person who is trying to lose weight. Okay, eating and training for athletes looks a lot different than eating and training to become a bodybuilder or just a general population who is a corporate professional and just want to lose belly fat. Okay, now if you have different demands, if you have different level of expectations from yourself, from your own bodies, then you also should have higher level of expectations from yourself when it comes to training, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to recovery. Okay, going on to the topic of training, first we'll start off with training, then nutrition, and then lastly we'll cover up the recovery modalities. Okay, all of these things are super complex and very detailed, so make sure you stay tuned till the end so that you don't miss out on anything. Starting off with the training first, the number one mistake that athletes and their coaches make is they confuse training for sports to look like how the sport actually looks. Okay, training is a different component, my friend. Playing a sport is a different component. Nothing can beat skill practice that happens during playing a sport itself with the training. Okay, training, whether we are working out in a gym, whether we are working out on the ground and doing anything, training for sports might not look like the sport itself, but that does not mean that training will not dictate or won't translate to the performance increase in the sport. Okay, the biggest mistake I see what people do is they get a barbell, load the barbell, they do a clean, then they do an overhead press, then they keep it on their back, and then they start doing squats or they start doing lunges, then they'll do an overhead press again, lift it and again do a deadlift and keep it on the floor. This is the stupidest thing that I have seen on the internet, and this is done by people claiming to be strength and conditioning coaches. This is done by people who are training high level athletes, high level sports people in our country today. Okay, I've seen people doing burpees and then jumping on a bar doing a pull up, then again coming down doing a burpee doing a pull up. Then I've also seen people doing walking lunges with dumbbells in the arms and doing bicep curls with walking lunges. I've also seen people grab a plate in front of them, walking lunges, and do the rotations. Stupidest thing that I have ever seen, my friend. And at least I should not be seeing this from strength and conditioning coaches. If you are athlete, you are not expected to know all of these background things about how the training should be like and how you should train, but your coaches should definitely know this thing. Understand one thing, my friend, an athlete who is educated about all of these things will always perform better, will always prevent himself from getting injured than as compared to an athlete who is not having this knowledge. Okay, so athlete with knowledge would always perform better and prevent himself from injury from an uneducated athlete. Uneducated athlete does not mean the educational qualification of the athlete, bachelor's, master's, phd, not that kind of an education. Education about the movements, education about the sport, education about his own body, education about his own physical and mental limits. Okay, this is the education that I'm talking about. If you are a coach and you are not educating your athletes, you are not doing your job correctly, my friend. And if you are an athlete and your athlete does not educate you on all of these things, you need a better coach, my friend. Okay, so what should we be doing in the training in the first place? The training is not supposed to mix and match everything and to make it look like the sport itself. Okay, the training is done to increase power, the training is done to increase your explosiveness, your strength, your endurance, conditioning, stability, mobility, all of these factors. And this will translate to your sport when you do all of these trainings to improve your athleticism and do your skill training separately. Okay, skill training is a different aspect of training. Okay, this is best done when you play the sport itself, when you practice the movement of the sport itself. Okay, don't try to combine these two, because by combining these two you won't be getting the best of both the worlds, rather you would be getting the worst of both the worlds. And moreover you could also get injured. Okay, so what has to be done in the gym is to increase your athletic capacity, to make yourself a better athlete, to make yourself produce more power, more strength, have better conditioning, so you could keep doing all of the things that you do on the floor for a longer time. Okay, and what you will do as a skill coaching or skill training with your team coach or the sports coach is you will practice your skills, you will refine your skills, and by refining your skills and by having a good athletic base, you would become an unstoppable athlete. Okay, this is the best part. One thing, when I was training a friend of mine who is also a cricketer, he is a fast bowler, he was a net bowler for Rajasthan Royals, and you would know about the bowling coach of Rajasthan Royals, Stephen Jones. Okay, Stephen Jones, one of the best fast bowling coach in the entire world. Okay, so what Stephen told my friend was that the biggest problem with bowlers in India is, in India, what I am seeing is Stephen Jones is from, I think from, he's from South Africa or New Zealand or Australia. I don't know where he is from, but he's not from India. Okay. What he told was, that was little disturbing for me, but that was also the truth. Okay. What he told my friend was that in India, people become ballers first and then they try to become athletes. In other countries, people become athletes first and then they become ballers. Okay, this is very deep, and this is something that we all should understand, that having that athletic base, if you are just a better athlete, you would be able to do a lot of the things in the sports a lot better than all of the other players. Okay, even if you are not that blessed when it comes to the skills, there are some people who are literally blessed when it comes to the skills, but if you are a better athlete overall, you will have more chances to be present in the game, you will create more chances for yourself because you will rarely get injured, you will create more chances for yourself because you would be proactive in the sport, you would be someone whom everyone would be looking at, because you are someone who would be grabbing the attention of the person who is watching the sport. Point number two, when we talk about training for building athleticism, we should be focusing on training the movements rather than training the muscles most of the times. Okay, what do I mean by train the movements and not the muscles? Now, training the movement, when we are doing a deadlift, we are not just training our hamstrings, we are not just training our glutes, we are not just training our lower back, we are training the hip hinge movement pattern. Okay, whenever we are doing a squat, we are not just training our quadriceps, not just our glutes, we are training the squat movement pattern. Okay, rather when we compare these two exercises with leg curl, when we compare these two exercises with leg extension, here we are training specifically our quadriceps, here we are training specifically our hamstrings. Both of them have their own place in a good program. Okay, but majority of the times we should be focusing on training the movements and not the muscles. Okay, because whenever we are playing a sport, we won't be using a single muscle group at any point of time. We would be using majority of muscle groups throughout the body. We would be using although most of the muscle groups throughout the body. Okay, what that does is, if we as a person are only as strong as our weakest link. Okay, and when we are doing a deadlift or when we are playing a sport, there is a component in our chain that we think is weakest. Okay, suppose it could be glutes for someone, it could be stability for someone, it could be lower back for someone, it could be shoulder stability for someone. When we understand that there are some weak links, for those weak links we could always add in isolation. Okay, for a football player who has to kick long, okay, for him leg extension would be the best exercise. Okay, for runners, leg extension, leg curls, even tibialis raises for the anterior tibialis would be great exercise. Okay, now both of these have their own roles to play, but majority of the times our focus should be on training the movement patterns, because those will not just train the muscles that we need, but also train the energy system, would also train the core if the breathing is done correctly, if the load is intense enough, if we are doing the training with good enough form, good enough technique. A lot of the bases are already covered here. Okay, so train the movement patterns and not just the muscles. Going on to the next one, stability and mobility for the win, my friend. This is the most underlooked component when it comes to training. That is, we don't, or we rarely, I've rarely seen athletes, I've rarely seen coaches coach their athletes for better stability, for having better mobility. Because you know what, a stable base, a stable foundation will help you to increase or produce more power and more strength if you don't have a stable base. Now just imagine you would be jumping on a flat wooden floor or a concrete floor, and you would be jumping on a sand surface. Where would you be able to jump higher? Where would you be able to produce more power? On a much stable surface, right? So your stability plays the same role to produce power, to produce strength, and to be able to do that for the long term. Is because if your body is unstable, you won't be able to produce as much force, you won't be able to produce as much power and strength. Okay, you need a stable foundation. Your body, the entire kinetic chain is nothing but the flow of the muscles through which the forces in the movement just flows. You need a strong and stable foundation for the forces to flow correctly, or else if there are some losses in the kinetic chain, weak muscles, unstable muscles, if you don't have control over that movement, if there are strength imbalances, muscle imbalances, length imbalances, you won't be producing as much force, as much power as you could if the stable foundation is there. Okay, then talking about the mobility. Mobility is basically control over the range of motions, control over the ranges that we are going through, that we want in the sport itself. Okay, so you should be stable, you should be mobile. These are the two most underrated components when it comes to performance enhancement, when it comes to injury prevention. Okay, how do we train for stability and mobility? Simple stuff. Before going into the workout, there are a lot of drills. Before, we need to screen the athlete, my friend. Okay, you cannot just randomly pick out any stability and mobility drill from the internet and just start doing it and expect it to work for you. There has to be a screening process. We should exactly know where the problem is before starting to treat that problem. We don't just go into the medical and pick any medication for any symptom in our body. Okay, if you are having fever, you would take paracetamol. If you are having digestive issues, you will take something else. If you are having the conjunctivitis, nowadays it's spreading a lot, you will take different medications. Okay, you won't take the same medications for all of the other problems in your body, right? Similarly, we have to screen the athlete first. There are a lot of screenings that we need to do before taking the athlete up for coaching. and that is what a professional coach does. If your coach hasn't done any screening with you and just started you with any workout plan, random workout plans, then you need a better coach, my friend. Okay, without assessing the problem, how would you feel if you go to a doctor and the doctor gives you the same medication for any problem that you have, without asking you what your symptoms are, without asking you what your goals are, how all of these things. If the doctor, you just go to a doctor and the doctor directly prescribes you with a medication plan, would you be happy with him? Then why are you happy with a coach who hasn't screened you yet? Okay, your coach also needs understanding, knowledge, certifications, and all of those stuff. But you as an athlete should also have that understanding, and you should be intentional about your own coaching process, your own performance goals. And if you want to achieve your goals, want to perform at the level more than what you have expected from yourself, you need to optimize all of these small bases, my friend. Okay, base knowledge is also important, and base of athleticism, both of these things are important. Okay, next part, my friend, is to simplify the training to amplify the results. Okay, just like I told you about the barbell complex, they put on weights on the barbell, do a deadlift, do a cleans, do an overhead press, keep it on the back of their neck, and then they are doing squats, lunges, multiple other stuff, pick it up. And now picking doing a shoulder press behind the back could be the worst thing for few athletes, and that could lead you to injury within the training itself. The worst thing that could happen with you during training is to get injured during training. Okay, this is not a place to get injured for elite athletes, my friend, because elite athletes, life is dependent on their sport. If they won't be able to play a sport, everything in their life will be distorted. Okay, and the last thing and the worst thing that a coach can do for an athlete is to get the athlete injured while training. Okay, so this is the worst thing to do. Simplify the process, simplify the training exercises. Now there are exercises like snatch, there are exercises like cleans to improve power, but they could be simplified. If the goal is to improve power, if the goal is to make the body work as a whole, is to do explosive stuff, there are simple exercises as well which are not as complicated, and the learning curve is smaller, and we could start getting the results. Because we don't get results once, we don't get results beyond so sorry for this, we don't get results until we are able to do the movement correctly. Okay, so if you just spend 3 months just learning snatch, just learning how to lift the barbell overhead and all of those things, then 3 months is the time you are spending to learn the movement itself. You will start getting results in the 4th month, 5th month, 6th month. But rather, there are simple movements. Squat jumps, one of the best movement, simple one. Box jumps is again simple one. Then there are hundreds of different exercises that we could do on the landmine setup. Just put a barbell on a corner, attach weights, and you can start doing a lot of things there. Okay, speed training, again, there are, you don't always need a parachute, you don't always need a hill surface, incline surface to start training for your speed. There are simplest things that we could do to train yourself for explosion, for producing explosive power, for producing speed, and a lot of different stuff. Okay, whenever it comes to core training as well, people want all of the fancy stuff that is out there. I tell this to all of my students all the time, is everything that works might not look fancy, everything that looks fancy might not work. Okay, so don't always choose the most fancy looking stuff over the internet, or even if your coach is always suggesting you to do this random stuff, my friend. Stay away from people who are giving you all of these random stuff. Okay, that is the simplest advice that I could give you, to cut out all of the bullshit, to cut out all of the noise. Okay, simple stuff. Don't just go for the stuff that looks more fancier. Okay, because doing fancy stuff might get you more likes, might get you a lot of engagement, might get you a lot of new followers, a lot of new inquiries. But as an athlete, as a coach for your athlete, these are not the things that would get you the results that you want, the increments in performance that you want, the reduction in injuries that you want. Okay, so simplify the process, simplify the training, simplify the approach towards the training, and you would naturally amplify the results that you are getting. Okay, that is the part. And the last part about training is, don't exclude explosive training and training for speed from your programs. Okay, majority of the times I have never seen athletes and coaches doing explosive training, doing sprints in their program, working out for speed and all of these things. Okay, I've always and just seen them work on their core with a lot of fancy exercises, do the strength training stuff, which is okay, not a problem, that is required for everyone. But then again, high volume stuff, doing a lot of exercises for biceps and triceps and every muscle in our deltoid, doing all the isolation stuff, high volume, high intensity stuff. This is increasing the workload on the athlete, which would hamper the recovery. Recovery is hampered, you will face injuries while you are training, while you are playing the sport and everything. Okay, your intensity should be high, the volume depending upon the season. Now season is also something, periodization. Now athletes in the other countries periodize, have a periodized program for the entire year that helps them to have an off season, in season, pre-season and off season and everything. But in India we have tournaments every weekend. Our athletes wants to be ready for every weekend tournament. Our athletes are not prioritizing one specific tournament or anything, they want to play year round. Okay, so athletes in India, it is very difficult to periodize for them. Okay, it is very difficult to give them a 16 weeks of off season where they would be working on their athletic base and general physical preparedness, specific physical preparedness and a lot of those things. So it is very difficult. So you need a smart coach, my friend, to to make sure that you are getting the best of everything from your training. Because if you want to play on every weekend, you cannot work out like a bodybuilder on 5 days and expect yourself to perform at your best on sixth and seventh day of the week. You have to manage your intensities and volumes in such a way where you are getting adaptations from training as well as you are still ready to play on the weekends. Okay, you are still playing every month playing a tournament. I know athletes are not, they cannot stop themselves from performing at their 110, putting in 150% of their efforts whatever they have, and this is what gets them injured majority of the times. But if you are still loaded with training, the training could be counterproductive here, my friend. Okay, but the training might not help you, the training would rather get you more injured if you are not doing it correctly. Okay, so if you are an athlete, you need a coach, my friend. Do how could you even expect to play at your level best without having a strength and conditioning coach, without having a skill coach? Now skill coach is there for all of the teams, is there for all of the academies and everywhere, but there are no strength and conditioning coaches. If there are strength and conditioning coaches, they are not knowledgeable enough, my friend. Just a personal training certification is not enough knowledge for a strength and conditioning coach. Just having 10 years of experience without any knowledge, without any certifications, without upgrading their own knowledge with the latest time is not a good strength and conditioning coach, my friend. Okay, this is something that I would be emphasizing throughout this episode, that having good knowledge, having the knowledge of what are the things at the moment, knowledge about the human body, about the anatomy, physiology, energy systems and all of these things is very very important. Okay, then again, coming back on topic, explosive training. We need explosive training. Even if you are a marathoner, you still need explosive training. Even if you are a long distance cycler, you still need something to improve your speed, something to improve your impulses, something to improve your short burst of energy, short burst of powers that you need. When we need this, even as a marathoner, you know, the starting phase is something that if you are going to run fast here, you are going to have that head start. Okay, whenever you want to cut someone, whenever you want to overtake someone, you need a little burst of high, you need power, my friend, to cut and to make that mark. And you also need power when you are near to the finish line. You don't want to just go on cruising speed when you are at the finish line. You want to sprint as fast as you could and get to the finish line, break the records, get the medals and make yourself and your state, your country proud. Okay, this is the aspect which comes with specificity. Every athlete would have different demands, every athlete would have different goals, every athlete would be at a different level, and once we understand the athlete better, we would be able to program for them better. But these were the points that are very very important. Don't confuse your training to look like training like an actual sport, to make it more, what we could say, to translate it more towards the sport. both of these are different things, and you don't need to train like the way your sport looks all the time. Okay, sometimes it's better if in a specific phases before your games, everything, those are different topics, my friends, but majority of the times don't do this. Then train for the movements and not for the muscles majority of the times. Okay, stability and mobility work should not be underemphasized. It should be a part of your workout routine. Working out with good form and technique should also be there. Simplify your training to amplify your results. And last but not the least, don't exclude explosive training and speed training from your athletes program. That was about the training part. Then coming on to the nutrition part. First and the foremost thing is, my friend, you are not a person who has a corporate job, who sits in an AC and just needs to lose weight. Your nutrition demands are way different, my friend. Okay, eat for your sport, eat to nourish yourself, eat to nourish your bodies, and to be able to play at your level best, and not to get that six pack abs. Majority of you guys have a lot of wear and tear in your muscles, in your ligaments, in your, all of the connective tissues, bones. You need a lot more food than what you could even think of. Okay, I've even trained athletes who have their, what you could say, maintenance calories as 3000 calories. Even on a 3000 calorie diet, the athlete wasn't gaining weight. Okay, 3000 calories was a maintenance calories for him, because he was playing the sport in the morning, training in the gym in the evening, having two workout means two training sessions throughout the week, and was fairly active throughout the day, had a social life as well, so going out and all of those things were there. 3000 calories was maintenance calories from him for him. Just imagine, even going to 200 calories to 50 calories beyond his maintenance would have been great for him. He would have had more activity throughout the day. He would have spent those calories in playing itself. 3500, 4000 calories would have been something that we would have planned for if our goal was to gain weight. Okay, so 4000, all of the daily values, the RDA requirements of vitamins, minerals, protein are given according to a sedentary person whose calorie requirement is 2000 calories, 2000 to 2500 calories. Who is a sedentary person, doesn't have as much demands on their bodies, their ligaments, tissues, and all of the things as you have. So your nutrition should not look like those people. Okay, your nutrition would look way different than these people. Okay, so keep that thing in mind. You need to eat to perform. Remember this thing. Okay, eat like an adult. 3000, 3500 calories is also fine for majority of people who are training or doing two training sessions throughout the day, fairly active throughout the day and everything. Okay, so always never think like, no, 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 I should eat only 1500 calories, I should eat only 2000 calories and stuff like that. Okay, always eat to perform. Okay, and don't worry about that ripped physique, those abs and everything. You, if you are active enough, if you are playing your sport, if you are training well enough, your protein intake is high enough, you would be building muscle. If you are not going in a calorie surplus, you won't be putting on a lot of fat as well, and then what you would be putting on, a lot of muscle. Okay, if you would look lean, if you would not have a lot of fat, if you would build lean muscle over time, you would look ripped, my friend. Okay, you need a lot more protein. Second point is, you need a lot more protein, because again, how and from what nutrient are our tissues made up from? Majority of them are made up from collagen. We need protein to form collagen supplements are not very bioavailable for us. They don't translate that much to the collagen production of our body as much as our body could produce the collagen from protein and all of the other nutrients that we have. Protein requirements super high, my friend. Okay, 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kg of body weight is a general recommendation, but if you are a serious athlete, you are serious about your recovery, serious about your performance, serious about the way you want to look, anything beyond 2 grams per kg of body weight would be great for you. 2.2 to 2.5 is something that I would recommend you to always have. That will also help you to curb your appetite and not eat a lot of carbs and not eat a lot of junk calories as well. That will again help you to stay lean and look the way you want and maintain those abs. Okay. Next point, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is not something that you should be afraid of. Carbohydrates could also be 3 to 5 grams of per kg of your body weight, my friend. 5 grams per kg of your body weight. If you are a, what we could say, 75 kg athlete, just multiply 75 by 5 and that could be your carbohydrate intake as well, my friend. Don't worry about the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are your primary fuel sources. They are going to fuel your performance, they are going to fuel your muscles, your brain and everything, and going to make you perform way beyond what you expected. Not eating enough carbs just to maintain that ripped physique is not for you, my friend. It is for bodybuilders, it is for people who just want to look great for the photo shoot and they don't want to perform somewhere. You want to go out in the sun, you want to perform at your level best, your body is under a lot of load, your body has got a lot of physical demands. You don't need to cut out carbohydrates, man. Again, fats are also essential nutrient for our body. Our brain is 70% fat. Hormonal balance, testosterone, everything requires fats. But again, minimum 50 grams of fat should be there as a part of your general nutrition routine. Going beyond 50 is also fine, till the point you are not going beyond your calorie maintenance calories. Okay, so that is what minimum 50, maximum just beyond. If balance between your protein and carbohydrate should be the first thing that you should be planning, and fill up the remaining calories with fats, no problem at all. Okay, that is what. Okay, apart from that, major thing that people never understand or don't have knowledge about is hydration, my friend. Hydration is not just water. Hydration is water plus electrolytes. Electrolytes play a very important role in our body, and majority of the times the athletes that are cramped, dehydration, my friend, dehydration is the biggest thing that hampers performance. Even if there is very small, even if a few percentage of dehydration is there for an athlete, that could severely hamper his performance and could lead to cramps, could lead to injuries and a lot of those stuff. Okay, so include electrolytes as a in your water as a part of your intra workout, intra training routine, so that an intra game routine as well, so that it will help you to stay hydrated well and avoid all of the cramps and the dehydration part. Okay, how you could add in electrolytes? Simple stuff, my friend. The electrol powder, ORS, not the fancy flavored ORS and everything. Get the simple one. Get the electrol powder, white and green one, which is certified by WHO and everything, and put that in a liter of water. It is generally made for a liter of water to maintain the osmolarity. Deeper concept, I don't want to get into that because it would be going like a bouncer for majority of you guys, so not going into that. One packet, 1 liter of bottle, and if you want to add in a little bit of carbs in there, great option. Add in 2 tablespoons of glucon D to it. Glucon D is pure sugar, great energy source for you, will help you to gulp down the water as well, would taste better as well. Have that, have that throughout your training, have that throughout your game and everything, and you would be well hydrated, you would not get tired, no cramps and nothing. Okay, so that should be a part of your hydration routine as well. Drink as much water as you can. There is also one problem with overhydration. Okay, that is called as hyponatremia, where the problem doesn't occur because of a lot of water, but happens because a lot of water in absence of electrolytes. This is called as hyponatremia. Okay, where the sodium levels in the body goes below a specific level, and due to that we face a lot of problems. So if we add in electrolytes into the water and drink that water a lot, we would rarely face any problem with this. And the people who are high sodium sweaters, the athletes who are very high sodium sweaters, how you could identify that is, after your training, after your sport, if your t-shirt looks like full white uh, things on there, due to the sweat getting evaporated, leaving the sodium behind, if that is something that happens with you consistently, you are a high sodium sweater. That means you are losing a lot of sodium from your sweat. So you need a little more electrolytes, and you need to be a little more cautious about this stuff. Okay, so even if you are a non-sodium sweater, there are different people, different bio individuality is still a thing. Every person is different, and everyone needs to have a curated nutrition routine as well. So if you are a non-sodium sweater, still you could benefit from having some higher electrolyte content. If you have this even slightly more, I'm talking about, not way more, you would be having or using those things in your game, my friend. Especially who are playing out in sun, who are playing outdoors, who have a lot of physical activity throughout their sport, and the sport lasts long enough. For them, hydration is very, very important. Very important component. A lot of you would have heard about young people falling or fainting in the gyms, fainting on the grounds during high summers and all of those things. India is a country where heat and humidity is like a lot. Okay, so you need hydration. People fainting there is also due to the lack of hydration, lack of water, cardiac arrest. Very similar term. Blood volume just goes down, the fluid, a lot of things could happen if you are not hydrated well enough. So just drink more water, add in more electrolytes to the water. That's the bottom line. Okay. Next point is supplements. Yes, supplements are also a part of nutrition, my friend. Now, supplements are not something that should replace your nutrition. That should not be something that should be replacing your nutrition, good food intake, and getting those nutrients from the whole foods. What supplement should be there for is to supplement a good training, nutrition, and a recovery routine. Okay, think of supplements to fill up the gaps. Okay, because there are times now, if you want to eat 4,000 calories, if you want to eat 200 grams of protein throughout the day, it is kind of difficult to eat that much from whole foods. So here supplements could play a very vital role. Okay, which are the supplements that we should start supplementing from? Are the supplements that we need the most. Okay, how would we understand that? By doing blood reports, by understanding the goals of the athletes, by understanding his nutrition requirements, by understanding his nutrition goals and all of the stuff. Okay, if you are not getting enough protein from the food, add in protein powders. Whey protein is the best one. But you could, if you are not doing well with whey protein, it's causing you bloating, lactose intolerance and everything, you could also go for plant protein. Plant protein should be coming from pea protein isolate and rice protein isolate and soy protein, nothing else. Okay, isolates much better, concentrates not that great but good. And that is what whey protein to fulfill the protein requirements if you want. Okay, second thing is something, second and third, second is omega 3s. A lot of us don't eat a lot of fish, so we lack omega 3 intake. Omega 3 is very important, is an essential nutrient. Essential nutrients are the nutrients that our body needs and they cannot synthesize on its own. Okay, so we need that from the food. If we are not eating fish at least 2 to 3 times a week, then it is great to supplement with omega 3s. Okay, third one, vitamin D. I've seen a lot of athletes, a lot of clients being deficient with vitamin D. Vitamin D and magnesium are again your precursors to absorption of calcium. Okay, a lot of problem arises due to lack of calcium, bone problem, connective tissues and everything, healing, everything, a lot of stuff. Okay, so if you are deficient in magnesium, vitamin D3, again calcium absorption would be hamper. You cannot just take calcium pills and start expecting that now my bones will be stronger and everything will go well. No, my friend, you need enough levels of vitamin D, you need enough levels of magnesium for the calcium to at least get absorbed in your body. Okay, so three proteins, then omega 3s, vitamin D. Then next one is beta alanine, my friend. Beta alanine is a powder which would help you to improve your endurance performance. Amazing stuff. Okay, apart from this, there is one that is just mind-blowing supplement called as creatine. This could even sit on top of the list even before whey protein. Creatine is gonna help you to have more energy, have more power, better mental clarity, focus, help with hypertrophy, help with strength gains, help with power gains, also help with endurance. Means creatine is like everyone should be supplementing from creatine. 3 to 5 grams of creatine every day. Amazing. Keep taking it on the same time. It works when it is saturated into the muscles. Best stuff. Everyone would be benefiting. Even if you are a non-athletic population, you are just trying to gain muscle, you are just trying to get stronger, you are just playing on the weekends, creatine will still help you. But drink enough water, my friend, and always take supplements under guidance. After doing the blood reports, after getting the blood report assessed from an expert, not someone who just sees the values and okay, this is not in the range, that means this is a problem. It does not work like that. There are optimal ranges, there are better ranges, and then there are also links between 2 or 3 components. If they are deficient, then that could lead to some other problem that could be a sign that there is something else that is going on with your body. Okay, that needs to be addressed. So get it checked by an expert so that you get a better idea and you don't lose out on your money while buying supplements, as well as you don't lose out on the most precious thing, that is your health and your body. Okay, last supplement on the list is one of my favorite. It is there to amplify the sleep, get better sleep, deeper sleep. ZMA, zinc magnesium aspartate multivitamin, but the combination of just zinc, magnesium aspartate, and B6. These three work synergistically, means together, to help us to increase the bioavailability of the nutrients and help us with the sleep latency. Basically, sleep latency is the time we are into the bed and fall asleep, so that is the time period is called as sleep latency. Second thing is the ashwagandha KSM 66, specifically to get standardized amount of ashwagandha specifically from the roots and not the leaves and the stems and everything from the ashwagandha. Okay, these two things before sleep, amazing to help improve your sleep quality, recovery, and everything. Okay, so these were the supplements that everyone could benefit from. But again, just like the disclaimer I gave below, before starting supplements or using supplements, always get the blood reports checked and take the supplements under expert guidance. That's what. That was about the nutrition part as well. Then now talking about recovery. Recovery is very important, my friend. Majority of the injuries that happens to athletes and people is overuse injuries. Overuse injuries happen when we are training a lot, but rather we are under recovering or under fueling ourselves. These are the most common, what we could say, causes of injuries. That is overuse injuries, patellofemoral pain, impingements, and a lot of those stuff, tendonitis, bursitis. Lot of those injuries are basically overuse injuries. You are training a lot harder. It is difficult to train athletes or people who are driven, okay, to take rest from their training periods and everything. Okay, but you need recovery, my friend. We don't get stronger, we don't develop power, we don't get bigger hypertrophied muscles and ripped physique unless we are recovering well enough, my friend. Okay, so recovery is very very important, most underlooked factor, but it is something that majority of us would benefit from having more of. Okay, so recovery is very very important, again, for every aspect of your life, for your hormones, for getting better adaptation, getting faster results, getting better recovery, having better energy for playing, and having better energy for doing all the other stuff in your life as well. Okay, very important. And what's the best way to increase recovery? Sleep. Simple, hands down, the best. If you want a best pre-workout, it's a good night's sleep. You want something that would be the best to increase your testosterone, growth hormone, all the androgen hormones, and get them in a healthier level, it's sleep. If you want to have better hunger hormone, better appetite control, not feel hungry throughout the day, not have food cravings throughout the day, simple option: sleep. Sleeping more is the answer to everything, my friend. I am going to include this as the third. Or only people just focus on training and nutrition so much that they forget about recovery, my friend. Recovery, if I would keep recovery before these two from the next episodes, because generally what happens is people will check out the training part, check out the nutrition part, and they'll think that no, recovery is not important. Now I will start putting recovery before training and nutrition so that you will get enough knowledge about the recovery aspect as well. Okay, sleep, very very important. If you are an athlete, high demands on your body, 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep is very very important. I have made a single episode in detail about how to optimize your sleep, how to increase your performance, how to lose more fat, preserve more muscle. Only one detailed episode on sleep. Just watch that, and that will change the game for your sleep. Okay, it's the best thing that you could do to perform at your level best, lose fat, preserve muscle, have better hormonal profile and your energy levels throughout the day, curb your appetite, have better control over your emotions, hunger, cravings, everything, my friend. Okay, then second important thing is managing your workload. Okay, you cannot train hard for 5 days and then play tournaments and play matches on Saturdays and Sundays and expect yourself to stay uninjured and to still keep making progress in your gym, still keep making progress or play better in your sport. This does not happen, my friend. You need to manage your workload, you need to manage your recovery. Now even if you sleep for 10 hours, but then again, apart from those 10 hours, you 14 hours you are still working, your body, even the 10 hours sleep is would be insufficient for you, my friend. Okay, managing your workout intensities, workout volumes, workout frequencies, then again sports. Now why these three are important is because whenever an athlete is in a sports setting, we cannot control the athlete, or it would be stupid from our side to control the athlete and tell them, no, 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 don't ball fast, no, 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 don't play after you have done 50 runs, no, 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 don't play after you have played 50 balls. No, that is stupid. An athlete always wants to do his level best. The athlete always wants to go beyond their physical and mental capabilities, and that is a good part. The athletes are always driven. So what we could cut out on is the training volume, frequency and intensities. Okay, if we give them enough room so that even if they go beyond their own expectations, they would still be in a better condition, that is the best thing that we can do for our athletes. Okay, and even if you are an athlete, remember these things, my friend. You only have a specific area for wear and tear. Okay, if you are filling it 100% with the training, you won't be able to play as better. Okay, so you need to plan out your workout sessions in such a way where you would be getting enough stimulus for your muscles to grow and adapt, and you would also have enough recovery so that you have enough buffer for your games as well. Okay, this is a very big problem for Indian athletes. I know how Indian athletes are, how Indian sports are. They want to play sports every weekend, they want to play tournaments every month and everything. Very difficult to plan out their programs, and that is why you need knowledge, you need a better coach to do all of these things for you. If you are an athlete, you don't need to have the knowledge about all of these small concepts, and if you try to, you would not even get the best of the knowledge part, and you would not even be the best athlete. Rather, be the best athlete, hire the best coach, and you would be getting the best combination. Okay, so this second thing was managing your workload. Then the last point from this episode is about all of the other recovery modalities: ice baths, massage gun, sauna, steam bath, foam roller, static stretching, lot of those things. These things are good, everything has its own pros and cons, and they are good for a specific thing, but they are good only for short term recovery. There haven't been a lot of research and evidence showing that these things are better to improve long term recovery and improve the performance in the long run. Okay, so even if you don't do all of these things, it won't matter a lot in the larger scheme of things. Okay, but if you want to do, if you have two games back to back, if you have games every day back to back, then ice baths could definitely help. But then again, ice bath comes with a trade off. It comes with a trade off that it could hamper your muscle growth, because again it reduces the inflammation in the body. Increase in inflammation is actually signaling our system to actually do the work there, that it signals our body that there is a problem here, and go there, check out what the problem is and recover it. This is how the muscle gets recovered, super compensated, and increase in hypertrophy, increase in strength, and all of those adaptations. But reduction in the inflammation signals would hamper this process as well. Okay, every other thing, massage guns and steam sauna would help you with blood flow, better blood flow, vasodilation would be there when we are going into the warm environments and everything. Massage gun, foam roller, everything would help you with having better blood circulation to specific areas, and they could help you with recovery a little bit for a short term, but then again, not the best long term strategies, does not help to reduce injuries or increase performance in the long run. Okay, so these are good things. If you feel good after doing this, keep doing it, no problem at all. But then again, not the best option. Even if you don't do it, you might not miss out on a lot of things. That is what, my friend, that is what this was about: the training, nutrition and recovery to look like an athlete, play like an athlete, and avoid injuries. Okay, that was about it, my friend. These are very detailed topics, and I just covered most of it in a generalized fashion, but I would be making single episode on single topics in future. And what you want to learn more about, just drop it in the comment below or text it to me on my Instagram. I am as fitness engineer Vinay. I will be waiting for your responses, I would be waiting to hear from you. That makes me feel good. If you just drop a like, share this episode with your friends, that would make my day. Okay, I would be so happy if you could just text me after you have seen this episode, how you felt and what was the best thing that you learned from this episode. That also motivates me, and that also helps me to stay on my toes to bring out such informational content for you. And if you think that there are some specific topics that I need to cover in the coming episode, always let me know. I will always be someone who would be working on getting you better topics, better episodes, and more knowledge, more value. Winner here, my friends, signing off. Bye.